Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven, wrapped in a cloud, with a rainbow over his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs like pillars of fire. Revelation chapter 10.
This is the vision that slams the brakes on everything. A mighty angel comes down from heaven. And let me tell you, this description isn't just pretty poetry. It's a puzzle box full of symbols. This incredible messenger is the central mystery we're going to unpack right now. Okay, let's break this down symbol by symbol, because each one is a direct callback. Being robed in a cloud, that's all about divine glory. The rainbow over his head, that's a huge nod to Ezekiel's vision of God's throne. It's a symbol of his covenant, that sacred promise of mercy. A face shining like the sun, that's pure, unfiltered divine light. And his legs being like fiery pillars, that's the exact image used for the pillar of fire that guided Israel in Exodus, a sign of God's direct presence and guidance. You put it all together, and this angel is just radiating divine authority. And then, get this, his stance. This isn't just some cool superhero landing pose. By planting one foot on the sea and the other on the land, this angel is making an incredibly powerful statement. It's a visual declaration that the entire world, every single ocean, every continent, belongs to God and is completely under his command. Period. So, with this massive declaration of authority still hanging in the air, the story introduces this fascinating twist. It's this contrast between a message that God decides to keep secret and another message that absolutely must be taken and shared with the whole world. The angel roars like a lion, which is often a symbol of God's own voice, and then 7 thunders answer back. Now John, being a prophet, gets ready to write it all down, but he's stopped cold. He's told, seal it up, don't write it. Now think about how wild that is. In a book that is literally called the Revelation, this is the only piece of information that God explicitly orders to be kept a secret. And this just brilliantly lays out the central conflict. On one side, you've got the message of the 7 thunders, the raw, unfiltered voice of God's perfect judgment, which stays sealed up as a divine mystery. But on the other side, you have this little scroll, and it's wide open. It's accessible. This represents the prophetic mission, the specific message that's for humanity, the part we're meant to understand and carry forward. This taps into a really deep theological principle, and it's summed up perfectly right here in Deuteronomy. The big idea is this. We are given everything we need to know for our mission. That's the revealed truth, the open scroll. But we're also reminded that we don't get the whole blueprint. We're called to act with courage based on what we do know, and humbly trust God with what we don't. So yeah, some things are kept secret, but the angel makes one thing crystal clear. He raises his hand to heaven and swears a solemn oath. There will be no more delay. This is a huge turning point in the story. It means the final phase of God's plan isn't just on its way, it's kicking off right now. And with that oath still ringing in the air, that time is up, the whole focus of the chapter just shifts on a dime. This huge cosmic vision suddenly becomes intensely personal for John. He's not just watching from the sidelines anymore. He gets pulled right into the middle of the action. The job he's given comes in 3 simple but really profound steps. He's told to go to the angel, take the little scroll right out of his hand, and then he has to eat it. I mean, what a wild symbolic act that carries so much weight. So what on earth does it mean to eat a scroll? Well, it's this incredibly powerful metaphor. The idea is that it's not enough to just read or hear God's word. You have to fully internalize it. You have to digest it. You have to let it become a fundamental part of who you are, down to your very bones. And here's the really cool part. This isn't the first time this has happened to a prophet. This moment is a direct callback to the prophet Ezekiel. He too was told to eat a scroll that was sweet in his mouth, but was filled with a message of judgment and woe. It's a way of showing that John is now standing in this long, difficult, but honored line of God's messengers. And this all builds to the absolute climax of John's personal experience. When he eats that scroll, the taste is a complete paradox, and it reveals something fundamental about the nature of any true, meaningful calling, whether you're an ancient prophet or just trying to live a life of purpose today. So in his mouth, the scroll is as sweet as honey. It's delicious. But the moment he swallows it, it turns bitter in his stomach. This duality, this bittersweet reality, that's the signature of a true mission. The sweetness of the vision is almost always paired with the bitterness of the struggle to carry it out. So what do these two tastes really mean? Well, the sweetness is that incredible joy of understanding God's ultimate plan, of receiving the promise of victory. It's the good news. The bitterness, though, that's the deep, gut-wrenching pain of having to deliver a message that also includes judgment and having to witness the suffering that comes along with it.
But here's the thing you absolutely have to get. This bittersweet experience isn't the end of the mission. It's the total opposite. It's the preparation. It's the fuel that makes it clear just how difficult, but also how glorious the work ahead is going to be. That bitterness doesn't stop the mission. If anything, it proves how real it is.
And right after he eats the scroll, what happens? He gets his marching orders. His personal, internal experience becomes the launchpad for a global mission. The painful reality of the message just confirms why it's so critical that he deliver it. A message of both hope and judgment to the entire world.
Okay, so let's boil this incredible chapter down to the essentials. What are the big takeaways? First, God is in absolute control. That angel's stance is the ultimate reminder. Second, the mission is urgent. No more delay means the time is now. Third, a true calling means you have to embrace the whole thing, the sweet promises and the bitter truths. And finally, we're called to act courageously on what God has shown us and humbly trust Him with everything that's still sealed.
In the end, this chapter just perfectly captures the tension at the heart of any meaningful purpose. And it leaves all of us with a question that's just as real today as it was then. How do we carry the sweetness of a great promise through the inevitable bitterness of a difficult journey?